Hello. I was on a roll there, and I just had to delete that whole section because my alarm went off. And, I don't know if I can get the momentum back. But I'm going to speak on or talk to you about evil. Evil in what I see the influences that's not being addressed by our leaders. Um, and I'm primarily talking about the um, Christian leadership. Um, you know, I come from a Christian background. I was raised a Catholic, converted to an LDS or Latter Day Saint Church, Jesus Christ Latter Day Saint belief um, in my adult as an adult. Um, but I am also questioning the leaders that don't speak to the evil that is around us. Not just stating there's a war in the Ukraine that thousands of people are dying. Really, you just wonder why. One person's one influence, one whatever. I mean, nothing new. Um, None of it's new. People have gone to war over the most ridiculous things. Kings and such are constantly going to war. People have gone to war, as I mentioned in the last clip, you know, for the love of Christ. Christ didn't want war. But people have died, you know, constantly because of evil, evil influences. And not enough is being taught. And I don't mean evil such as just pornography or human trafficking or the, uh, the evil of slavery that was predominant in our country and still has some aspects of slavery still linger because people want to dominate others. But where does that come from? Where does that desire to control come from? Is it in us as individuals? Is it in us as a group of, people? Can we be educated not to be evil? Or can we just be educated not to show the evil that is within us? These are questions that you wonder why people do what they do. Why do they steal? Why do they commit perjury? Why do they lie about everything? I remember a gentleman, I'm trying very hard not to be in using current examples because there's a lot of source information and problems using that because you don't have all the data around it to defend a, you know, position A or position B. Um, but you'll never have all the data, as I said in this last clip. Experts certainly disagree on everything, and they're experts and they spend their lives on this stuff. So, who am I? Who am I? I am just me, and me wants to be a decent person. That's who I am, and that's important. I don't want to be influenced by evil. What is that? Where does it come from? Again, as a Christian, I mentioned my background. As a Christian, Satan, and I hedge the word Satan because of the different perspectives on it. But Satan, in the Christian context, is evil. And in the Christian context, Satan, who is defined as a he, is influencing everything that goes on, the sorrows that we have. And these things are not being addressed. And again, it's not just, being honest on your taxes. It's not just the situation in the world, what, you know, pick an evil, pick a crime, pick a sorrow that may influence you or has influenced you. But where does it come from? Have you ever asked yourself that? And, as a Christian, and there's an evil influence, and it's, you know, goes around, well, you know, um, did God create evil? Where does it come from? And, God's an all loving God. Well, it just popped up. Where did it come from? The essence and the influences, I don't know. I mean, I've used a glib phrase before. It's beyond my pay grade. It is beyond my pay grade. I don't have an understanding of that. I do have questions about it. How could the son of the morning, in a Christian perspective, the star of the morning star, I guess, be so corrupted? Where did it come from? Pride? Well, where did that come from? Why even have it? Why entertain it? I listened to a talk one time in our church, and the brother talked about pride. Don't use the word pride. I'm proud of this person. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what I do. He suggested using the word pleased. Pleased. I am pleased with myself. Not proud of myself. Pleased with what I'm doing. Happy, content with what I'm doing. Proud can be used in a selective way. Pride can be used in a selective way to enhance, empower, create. But it also can destroy. But if you use the word pleased, I am pleased with overcoming my competitor. I guess you can do that. But it sounds better using, well, I am proud that I overcame that person, and I, lifted my sales quotient. I'm proud of that fact. I'm also pleased with it because I'm making more money or whatever. But it doesn't give the same connotation as pride. And if you enhance and if you entertain that, if you infuse that more into your life, that you are more pleased and proud, don't you think that it would be a better place? Don't you think you would have a better perspective? Do you think that Lucifer would, if he said, I am pleased with the fact that I'm overthrowing or trying to overthrow the heavenly order, you think he would say that? I'm proud that I'm doing it. I enhance myself. Pride is the key to evil. It has always been the key to evil, I think. I don't know if you think that. But where does it come from? Are all we do as people, is that the thing we have to guard against? The pride, the evil? Because where does a man like, well, I don't want to get into particulars if I can avoid it, but where does a man like Putin come from? Where did Hitler come from? You read his history. You read Mein Kampf. You read these things. I'm trying to understand what he served in World War I. He was in the trenches, Hitler was. Putin, a KGB guy. But it doesn't matter where you're coming from, where your ideals are formed. C.S. Lewis, I mentioned him earlier. He fought in World War I. Tolkien fought in World War I. They didn't end up being Hitlers. Yet there are understandable concerns that were raised in Germany after World War I, which created a man like Hitler. Because he wasn't alone. He was an artist selling trying to sell it, but he was not good enough. But anyway, bottom line is evil. It is not clear what evil is or where it is, but it is influencing our society today. I think you need to understand that. You need to understand that in much more than what is being promoted from the pulpits, except in some of the hardcore places. But in most, from what I can see, it is not being stated clearly enough. Obey the law. Why? You think it's the wrong law? You know, I want to go 90 miles an hour instead of 35. There's a reason for these things for social order, because it's a higher calling. And if you do the things just to do it for yourself, for your own pleasure, for your own pride, for your own desires, is that not an evil thing? It's within a certain understanding, a certain bounds, a certain awareness of what we are to do as a group of people, as a society, as individuals. Don't you agree? Because we all have failings. We all fail. To what degree? Some people fail really hard, really bad. Some people fail and they pull themselves up. Some people don't. Some people collapse. We're so individuals. It's not a common thing. It's not one thing that rules, the one ring that rules them all. It's not that. You are important. You are critically important to the betterment of this world, to the betterment of our society, to the betterment of all. You, whoever is listening to this, if it's only me, I'm speaking to me. Because you need to know that evil is influencing us in many ways. Be aware of that. Focus on that. Don't be prideful. Be aware, I guess, is the bottom line. Because I cannot define evil. I don't really understand it enough to know that. But it's there. We all know it's there. Let's protect ourselves, our society, from that influence as best we can. We're not going to be 100%, but we can do more. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? Thanks for listening. I appreciate it very much. Like, subscribe, send the links if you want. All right. Have a great day. Bye for now.